Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Hey, and welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. Dan Margetta is in Las Vegas. What is it like, Dan, when you're looking at 25% capacity at the hotels and at the racetrack?
No, the hotels seem busier. The racetrack, I mean, it's about 12,000 fans. It was great to go to a race again. It just felt really cool to be able to see one live and a NASCAR race in person again. And it's really easy getting in. They do the temperature checks. It feels like you're checking your price, and if you're on sale or not, and they boop you on the forehead. And if you're okay, you walk in, and everything's on your phone, and it's really spread out. I mean, there's nobody around you because it's only 12,000 people there. Traffic isn't bad. It was nice to be in some race traffic. As much as we hate race traffic, it was kind of cool to have a little bit because we're back doing this again.
What's the criteria for deciding who goes to the race?
I had it because I've had the tickets to both races here for many years. I don't know if they went that route or not. I mean, I'm sure it was kind of like other tracks. They probably gave people the option of pushing it back to another year if you wanted to or not, and went from there. They did sell some tickets, so they had some around. This was the race everybody wanted to go to. It was the spring race. It was the September race because it's so hot out here. It was the one that was hard to get fans to come to. So I'm surprised that I didn't hear more about people not getting to come here. So I'm not sure how they worked it all out.
And, of course, we had a little get-together every year over at New York. Did anybody show up for that thing?
This is not the year to have it. COVID kind of put its thing on that. The bar we always have it at, when it's open to get your drink and walk on. You can't congregate. It was a nice place to hang out on top of the escalator and watch the people watch, and it was all roped off. So a couple of people went down to South Point and hung out down there for a little bit that night, and I stayed around where I'm at Park MGM, and I had some friends that I'd worked with that I haven't seen in a while that were in town, so I hung out with them that night. So the Wisconsin party, you'll have to probably wait. If it's back to normal September, we'll do it double.
It's not like the Vegas of old when it's race weekend, when you see people with race jackets on everywhere.
Yeah, you see some. I mean, it's definitely busier on the weekends. I got here Wednesday night, and you can tell a lot different. Last night was a lot busier compared, to when I first got here. But it's slowly coming back. I mean, it's starting to come around, and there's some restaurants that aren't open yet. Some are going to open next week. Some places you got to make reservations. You have to have time. Then you're there for your 2-hour window at a bar and have to leave. That kind of stuff. It's slowly getting back to normal. It just, to me, it felt great to get back on a racetrack and see some racing for once.
Well, you got there Wednesday. Well, that's a long weekend. Your vacation's about over, huh?
Not really. I'm driving to Phoenix tomorrow. I'm doing a double, doing some spring training games, and then the Phoenix race next week, Sunday, before heading back.
Wow.
Just a happy camper, Dan.
And you know how Dan, one thing he never, ever has to do is say, honey, can I go to a race? Never.
Yes.
He just goes. There you go. That's the other side of it. If you'd like to participate in our program, you can do so at 414-421-7901. That will be good for the entire race. Kevin Harvick has hit the magic number for the qualifying metric and will start on the front row. And so, yeah, I suppose they do what they have to do. It seems to me that Kyle Busch, by virtue of racing in the Truck Series, got some laps on this track and might give him a little advantage, possibly?
I don't know.
I think so.
I was wondering to see how that go. I thought if he would have won that truck race, maybe. I think Kyle Busch really gets hurt by no practice. I think that's really what's the problem there, is they're not able to practice. And I don't think that you can take a computer setup and put it in a car to emulate Kyle Busch. I think it's just he's just a seat of the pants kind of driver, and he needs to have his feel. And I don't know if you can get it. I don't think he spent a lot of time in the simulators before. He's probably done it more now because that's the way to get the setup in the car originally. I think that lack of practice has really hurt him. And I thought maybe if he got out in the truck race and whipped up on him, that that might just put him in a better mood for Sunday. But he didn't win it. He finished second. But
yes, but that's not the real key here.
The difference between those two vehicles is night and day. I mean, talking about horsepower, body, aero,
Right.
everything.
I'm just talking about, mentally in your head. If you entered, I just whipped up on everybody. I'm entering Sunday already having that frustration taken out the week or that before.
So nothing translates. That's the real bottom line. However, Kyle did get the racing world pretty stirred up. He's a smart racer, folks. Let's put it bluntly. And if he wants to have perfect control of his truck while he's out at full speed and a tire goes down, and yet when he's down on the apron and bringing it in and needs a caution, yet he can still spin it out, bring out the caution, and when it gets asked about
He learned that from Dick Trickle.
There you go. Trickle was a master at that stuff. And but you're not worth your salt if you don't know how the rules work and how to make the rules work to your advantage. And Kyle Busch did that yesterday and wouldn't answer questions about it. It was pretty hilarious. Kyle, you want to address that? What happened with your car? Nope. That was the end of the conversation. Make up your own story. You're not getting anything.
The reason is because in the past, when somebody admitted they may have spun out somewhat on purpose, they got fined and lost points.
It happened with
Bubba Wallace, and I think it happened with Dale Jr. years ago.
Well, what I was talking about with Michael Waltrip's team when they instructed
Richmond years ago, right?
Yeah.
You can't put out anything over the radio that sounds like you are manipulating anything, because if there's anything NASCAR hates, it's being manipulated. And they like to do their own manipulating. So Kyle Busch, he put a one whale of a show on to finish second in those last few laps to come from the back, and really did a hell of a job. But of all guys to win, Nemechek.
Right, which he's racing his own equipment. Nemechek's in a Kyle Busch truck, and that's just so good that those trucks are. And you knew Nemechek was going to be good coming into the thing. I didn't think he was going to be that good and right out of the box, but he was pretty tough all night. And the thing here in Vegas, when Kyle Busch is in the truck race, his odds are 4-5. That means that everybody else has pretty high odds, and Nemechek went off at 16-1.
And I'll bet you some guys even had money on him.
Not me. I wish I would have.
I thought you did. You did have money in the Xfinity race, though, where A.J. Allmendinger was your winner in a pretty darn good battle with Daniel Hemrick. And what did you have Allmendinger at, Dan?
He was at 12-1. I put $10 on him, so I won $120. I had all three quality cars. A.J. was 12-1. Justin Haley was 30-1 in the 11, and Jeb Burton in the 10 was 50-1. I just figured that team seemed like it was about time to hit victory lane and got it right, I guess.
Nice call. So therefore, you'll be able to give some betting advice or even fantasy advice later in the program for those of us who are in the LTN Fantasy League.
I got to set my lineup.
I mean, that was such a victory lane celebration that was almost comparable to a first-time winner.
Are you talking about Allmendinger?
Yes.
My God, he likes to talk, doesn't he? Put a mic in front of that guy, and you better. They had to pull the thing, and they didn't say, "Here we are with no." Now we're going to go to talk to Daniel Hemrick, and then we're out at a basketball game. They were running short on time. Oh, that reminds me, by the way, today's race will be on Fox Television. You don't have to have cable or satellite. The green flag is at 2:48. Coverage right here on the Big 920 will follow the Wisconsin Badger game, which will start directly at the end of our program. Coverage will be somewhere around 2:30. What's that, Ed?
I didn't care about basketball.
Well, it's what's on here on the Big 920 that we care about.
Now. March Madness.
How about Josh Balicki with his brilliant move, Todd?
I tell you what we'll do, Ed. I think what we'll do is talk about Josh when we come back.
You know where we're going to do?
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience. Stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
The regular season comes to an end.
Davison goes into Potter, kicks it to Trice. Good look at a 3 left corner, good.
It's been an up and down year for the 25th ranked Badgers, but March Madness is right around the corner. First up, though, a Sunday morning tussle at Powerhouse, Iowa.
Lost the handle. Wall digs it out of there, forces the turnover. 3-on-2 Wisconsin. Davis down the lane, swoops to the rim, way up, good.
Coverage starts following Let's Talk NASCAR at 11 on the Big 920 at big920.com.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks for joining us. Wisconsin's one and only regular driver on the Cup circuit, Josh Balicki. Didn't have a real good race last week. He finished 33rd. He was 8 laps down. He was running at the end. He was ahead of 2 other cars that were running. Currently 31st in the points. Today, Josh goes off 35th of 38 cars based on the qualifying metrics. So really, we're looking at the back of the field, but that's not what the issue is for Josh today. He has a sponsor. It's a local Vegas sponsor called the Dollar Loan Center. They do payday loans, that sort of thing. And the guy who runs the business, his name is Chuck Brennan. And he came up with an absolutely brilliant way of getting attention on the 52 car. You don't get attention during the race. Guys that are 8 laps down generally don't get attention. But today, our boy Josh is going to have a $10,000 bet at Circa downtown put on him for 1,000 to 1 odds.
No, 10,000 to 1 odds.
Well, it was 1,000 to 1 at
okay.
Circa. Yeah, you could have, if he had done it at a different place, Dan, you saw it at 10,000, right?
Right, at Westgate.
I mean, talk about a significant difference. Well, anyway, at 1,000 to 1, he put $10,000. It's a $10 million payday. If for some reason hell does freeze over and Josh Balicki should win today at Las Vegas. So
do you know where that story is getting the most play? It's on the local paper, on the TV stations, and most non-racing outlets. A lot of non-race fans are getting interested in this because it's kind of a cool story, and that's where it's really hit around here. I mean, everybody's kind of talking about it because everyone wants to see if this bet's going to pay off. I don't think they realize how long a shot that is, but
yeah, but it's what a great story because somebody put their money where their mouth is. Chuck Brennan is bringing attention to our sport. Now, the question here would be, what would it cost to be the major sponsor on a backmarker Cup car for one? Well, he's probably in there for a couple of races, wouldn't you think, guys? Maybe 3-4 races.
It's probably close to the same amount per race, I'd say. Yeah. I mean, maybe you give up
maybe
one race.
10,000?
I would guess.
Okay, so by doubling his investment, we're just guessing on that number, folks. We don't really know. But let's just say he paid $10,000 to be the main sponsor on that car. It's also They also sponsor the 2 local professional teams, the Vegas Golden Knights NHL franchise, plus the Las Vegas Raiders. And both of those logos are going to be on Josh Balicki's car, which brings more attention. And I think it was a brilliant move for $10,000. Look at the publicity he has generated for that car. It's just great.
And the catch is if it wins, he's going to use that money to pay off everybody in Nevada that's got loans through him. He's going to get their loans paid off.
So they think they have a shot at getting their loan paid off. So they're going to watch the race today. Now go, where's our guy?
They'll watch for about 20 laps, and then you'll be like, oh, darn it.
I don't think he's going to win. Well, hello. Well, that's okay. It's, it's brilliant. A sponsor using his brain. That's a beautiful thing. Gentlemen, the race last week at Homestead, my favorite track, I think it's a lot of people's favorite track, and I've never even been there. Wild Willie Byron wins for the first time this year. It's interesting when you look at the guys who have won races this year. Christopher Bell, McDriver, and now Willie Byron. None of those are, big regular winners. And maybe that's just a sneak peek into the future, because next year is going to be all kinds of crazy different drivers winning, don't you think?
Well, the interesting thing is it takes away how many 16 people in the playoffs. When we get to the end of the playoffs, we say, who's going to make it by points? Well, if we keep this up, we're going to have 16 different winners.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right. And keep in mind now, a long shot has never won Vegas. I mean, every Vegas race in the Cup side has never been won. I think the longest odds are probably maybe Kurt last year, and I'm not sure they were 12 maybe to 1. So long shots don't win it out here at Vegas, but we'll see if the first time for everything. And the way this year's going, who knows?
I'll bet you have the latest odds there with you.
I do.
Yeah, Ed, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Oh,
I'll start with the favorites.
Sure.
Kevin Harvick at 5-1, Denny Hamlin at 7-1, Chase Elliott 7-1, Martin Truex Jr. at 7-1, Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano all at 10-1.
Oh, that's where my money's going. Right there. It's going to be a Penske day.
I put $20 on Larson.
Okay.
Kyle Busch at 12-1, Ryan Blaney at 12-1, and Busch at 12-1 is interesting. Yeah. Alex Bowman 16-1. He runs very good here. William Byron, last week's winner, 18-1. Have they turned it around at Hendrick? They've been fast consistently now. Kurt Busch at 25-1. He was pretty quick last week at Homestead. Christopher Bell 30-1. Austin Dillon 30-1. Eric Almirola 40-1. Here's my long shot pick. Tyler Reddick. Go Tyler Reddick, ride the top. I don't know if you can do it as well here at Vegas as you can at Homestead, but at 60-1, I'm going to take a shot at him.
No kidding. And you put a couple bucks on him, huh?
I put $20 on him.
Nice. Why not? The guy looks good every week. He's clearly the best driver that races for Richard Childress. So, that's not a bad bet then. It's fun.
We got Matt DiBenedetto at 60-1. He finished second here both races last year.
Another Penske car.
Another interesting stat for Vegas is the last time a non-Cup Series champion won at Vegas was 2011 with Carl Edwards. So all the Cup races that have been held there since 2011 were won by people that have been or are Cup Series champions. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll continue on.
Go ahead.
Cole Custer's at 60-1. Now we get to the 80-1 range. Chris Buescher, Ricky Stenhouse, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, all at 80-1. 100-1. Ryan Newman and Chase Briscoe and Daniel Suarez. Eric Jones at 200-1. Michael McDowell 200-1. Ryan Preece 2,000-1. Anthony Alfredo 5,000-1. Justin Haley 5,000-1. And here come your 10,000-1 cars: Corey LaJoie, Josh Blicky, Quinn Hoff, Timmy Hill, BJ McLeod, Garrett Smithley, Cody Ware, and Joey Gase.
Now, those are not the odds at every single casino, Dan. This is at Westgate, correct?
Right. I went down there. Westgate has the most options. Like some of the MGM ones, you can bet on Sunday's race, but they didn't have anything for Saturday or the trucks. And you can do matchups and different things over at Westgate. I just like going down there because there's just more options.
And they have those incredible odds.
Right.
10,000 to 1? You got. I'd throw it. Nah, I guess I wouldn't. Never mind. Yeah, those guys have about as much chance to win as I do.
I went as high as 60. I thought Tyler Reddick's a driver. Tyler Reddick can drive the car. They can put the car in him and keep the speed up. And just, Kurt Busch won his race in September with like the 12th or 13th fastest car in the field. So if the calls are right and the drivers, get up front in the clean air late, go at it.
That's interesting. No long shots win, at least at Vegas, right? So that would be the longest shot ever if Tyler Reddick could come home. He could do it. We'll be back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The madness of March is here. The 2020 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament tips off Wednesday, March 11th on Compass Media Networks. Live from Indianapolis, Indiana. Be sure to join us for all the action from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis as one of the nation's top basketball conferences battles it out for a spot in the NCAA tournament. Who will come away with this year's tournament crown? If it's the Big Ten Tournament, it's right here.
The Big 920 and thebig920.com.
There's these races are exciting all in themselves, but I'll tell you, there's a buzz in the racing world as we're looking forward to racing a cup race at Bristol on the dirt. First, when was the last time there was a dirt race in Cup? Was it about 1970, Dan?
Yeah, I think it was. I think Richard Petty won it. So it's been 50 years.
Jeez.
51.
Just imagine that. Well, the Bristol format was released this week. They're going to do a pill draw like they do at many tracks. They're just going to draw a number to see where you start in your heat. Brian, they're going to have 4 15-lap heats, and they're only going to count green flag laps. Isn't that awesome?
Correct. Yeah, this is a very similar format to what we use all across the country. They simplified it a little bit because of the amount of cars that are going to be there. So we'll just take the example that there's going to be 44 cars there, which I guess there's rumblings that there might be 44 cars that show up for the Cup race. So they'll put 11 cars in each heat race. It'll be 15 laps. It's going to be a random draw, a blind draw. So they're going to draw by order of owner points. So whoever's leading the points will get the first draw. And you could draw a high number. You're going to start in the back. So with it only being 15 laps, that makes it difficult if you draw a terrible number and you start 11th, chances from you going from 11th to the front in 15 laps are very unlikely. So they added passing points to it. So each heat race will end with points. The winner will get 10, so on down to 1 point for the person finishing in 10th. And then if you pass a car, so if you start 11th and you pass like 6 cars, you get 6 additional points into what you finished. So you could conceivably start in the back, finish 4th or 5th, and get more points than the guy that wins it. And that's very common procedure, and that's how they're going to set the lineup for the main event then on Sunday, the 250 lapper.
Yeah, they're also going to work in your finishing position into the passing points too, I guess, right?
Right. So if you start on a pole and win, you don't get any passing points. If you start, first and you finish way back there, you don't get negative points. So you don't lose points for going backwards. You just get a 0. It's just if you pass cars. And otherwise, it's difficult. And we do that a lot at our local track at Plymouth. If we get a terrible draw, which happens to us all the time, when we get there and have to start in the back of our heat race, you just try to get what you can to try to get enough points to get it. And sometimes, finishing 3rd or 4th or 2nd even gets you a better starting spot than even the winner because you're able to accumulate those points. It's used all over the country. There's a lot of series that don't, a lot of the professional guys don't like it because it doesn't put it, the full thing in your hand. But hey, with dirt racing, if you're going to qualify all those cars, that would be a crapshoot also because the first car out, the track might be slimy. The last car out, it might be too dry. So I think this is cool, and it's going to be an interesting way to do it.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
If you start on a pole of the heat race and you fall back to 5th, then you come back to win, do you get passing points?
Nope. It's just from your starting spot to where you finish.
And you just passed 5 cars, though.
Yeah, but you backed up to get it.
Yeah.
Where you start. And then the other thing they're going to do in this race that's going to be interesting is there'll be controlled pit stops. They're not going to have your full-blown green flag or any pit stops. There's going to be the end of the stages. It's a 250-lap race. It'll be a controlled caution, so you're going to come in, change your tire. You can only change tires and you can only get fuel under those end of the stages. You can't do it any other time. And then they're not going to do green flag pit stops simply because you're going to be on dirt tires and you're going to be coming in. The pits are still going to be the concrete and the asphalt like they've always been. And with the dirt tires mixing with that, guys, dropping the jack and tearing off there, you're going to wreck those tires. So this way it just makes more sense to do it in a controlled fashion, and it's going to put more focus on the actual racing itself.
Now, the race will be the last weekend of the month, and the weekend before that, they're going to have the Bristol Dirt Nationals, which is going to be modifieds, late models. I mean, I didn't see all the cars that are going to race, but I assume they're going to have a few days worth of racing, right?
Oh, it's a full week. There's like 150 cars in each class. There's 2 different classes of modifieds, 3 different classes of late models, IMCA stock cars, and I even think there might be a 4-cylinder class there or something like that. But yeah, the track will get worked in, and they're going to have a pretty good idea of what the track is going to do by the time that Cup weekend rolls around. It actually makes a lot of sense. You're going to have a lot of trial and error, and you're going to use these guys that want to come in and race. I mean, the IMCA stock cars are probably going to be the closest thing to what a Cup car is going to be as far as the heaviness of the car and how it's going to work on the track. So, hopefully by the time they get to the following weekend, the track crew guys are going to have a real good read on what the weather's going to do, what the sun's going to do, and what the track's going to do to make it the best it can be. If they were going to just do this blind, I'd be real skeptical. But having a full week of it now, I think that's going to help them a lot to figure out what they got to do.
Now, there's a couple of Cup guys that are going to race during the Dirt Nationals the week before. I saw Joey Logano has a modified, right?
Yeah, I think Joey Logano, Matt Crafton, Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier won in his modified at Volusia. I think those 3 guys are going to be there in modifieds if the schedule works out. They still have to figure out, because the Cup weekend is going to be racing the week before that, so they got to figure out, or Xfinity, where those guys are going to be that weekend.
And for the dirt late models, Kyle Busch, we already knew that he was coming, but was it this week they talked about Kyle Larson is going to drive that 6 car?
Correct. The car that he won with back in January in Florida. Yep. And then Austin Dillon, I think, is putting together a late model. Austin Dillon ran late models. Dan, how many years ago was that? Remember, he was at Cedar Lake when he was like a little kid.
Yep.
Running with Dale McDowell's team, and he was really actually good in it.
I saw him win a couple late model races at the Charlotte Dirt Track, too.
Yeah.
And he won the truck race, didn't he, once? I think.
Dirt truck race? Yeah,
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he did, if not the first one.
Yeah, he might have won the first one. You might be right with that, yeah.
Yeah, noted dirt authority, me. By the way, speaking of trucks, Briscoe is going to race at Bristol, too, in a truck. And, he's a dirt guy, right?
Yeah, I think he might have won the last Eldora truck race, I believe, a couple of years ago in 19 when they ran it. I think he did.
So a lot of excitement generated by this, as you might imagine, something different. The banking has been cut way down. What has it gone from 33 degrees to 12? Did I see that
19.
right?
19 degrees.
Oh, 19. Okay, so it's still pretty steeply banked for. What is it like? Just for the heck of it, what do you suppose the banking is at Beaver Dam? Anybody? And I just off the top
maybe,
of your head,
12 or 15. I mean, you can't have it overly banked because you got to get equipment up on the track. You got to get a grader. The grader has to be able to drive around, and there's a water truck. I mean, when we go to Eldora and they water Eldora, the water truck drives on the bottom and they shoot a cannon up there because the banking at Eldora is pretty high. But in order to get the motor grader up there and the packing trucks up there, you can't have it that bank because, I mean, look at when Daytona, when it was in a rain delay, when that jet blower slid down. Now imagine slippery wet clay.
Oh my goodness.
So you had to get it down just to be able to get it. And dirt racing, you can go too fast. You can go too fast where you can't even pass and you can't do anything. So I think the way they have it set up, and it's kind of more progressively banked. It's going to be a little flatter on the bottom, higher on the top. Should be some good racing.
Man, you can understand the interest that is generated over this great idea to do this, to try out Bristol and make it a dirt race. Big fun. We'll be back. Hang in there.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities, including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience. Stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
NASCAR heads to Vegas.
The Pennzoil 400 is now underway.
Truex will go to the top side of the racetrack. 3 wide in the middle of the banking in turns 1 and 2. Kevin Harvick, the new race leader.
Kevin Harvick has dominated. Chase Elliott's caught him. He looks to the inside, tries to grab the lead in turn 1.
I've got goosebumps. If you're not enjoying this, you're not a race fan.
A Pennzoil 400.
Coverage begins following Badger basketball at 2:30 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR. The Big 920 and Big920.com.
Well, we didn't have to worry about this ever, but the next year, the NFL is going to add a game. It's going to be a 17-game schedule, which, according to NBC Sports Football Morning in America, that will push Super Bowl 56 back 1 week to February 13th, and that is the latest ever date for a Super Bowl. There has been considerable speculation that this past game would have been pushed back due to COVID concerns, but the entire postseason was played with no scheduled delays. So it is already announced that the Daytona 500 next year will be February 20th. It sounds as though they were proactive, knowing that this was coming. So we're going to start the season the week after the Super Bowl anyway, just in case anybody was wondering if that sort of thing's going to happen.
I think it was like that for a while, wasn't it, Brian? And we went there, and like the last couple of years, they moved it back to the original week, and they've had rain problems.
Yeah, because your Facebook memories showed stuff being in Florida the last week of February. So, they did it. I think one of the first years we went there, they moved it because they thought it'd be a little warmer a week or two later, and then President's Day weekend, I believe that's what they were looking at, decided they did a better job of selling everything else there, so then they moved it back to the traditional Valentine's Day / President's Week.
President's Day was the day after the race, and it was that way for many, many years. So I always loved those federal holidays. Boy, that gives me an extra day to get back home again when I was being a mailman for a living. A couple other things, Dan, as you come up here for the down here, I should say, for the Phoenix race next week, they found a sponsor. It's called the Instacart 500. They leave the K part off. It's 500K. They are announced that it is going to be a sellout at 11,000. And Dan, you/we, I guess, are going next week, huh?
Yeah, we'll be watching from one of the infield tables out of turn 4 in the start finish line. So it'll be a little different perspective, but hey, at least I get to be there.
And last week's Homestead race had the highest ratings for a Homestead race in 4 years. How about that? Things are turning around. Things are looking good. So that's a little something to keep in mind. We're turning the corner, folks. It's coming around and it's looking good. On the other hand, I'm not sure things are looking too good for our friend Natalie Decker. Dan, there's some news that came out of that car, the Xfinity car that she had driven.
Well, she was in that 23 car, and in the beginning of the season, Tyler Reddick was a teammate with Brett Moffitt on the All Motorsports car. It was going to be number 02 and 03. Reddick was going to drive the 03 car. Qualifying got rained out in Daytona. He didn't make the race because of the rainout, and that pushed that car out of the races the next couple of weeks. It goes by the formula to get in there. If you didn't make that Daytona race, you're kind of stuck for a couple of weeks. I think Jordan Anderson's the same way on his car. It's interesting. There was 43 entries for the car for the Xfinity race this week. Only 40 started because attempts counts. Even though the cars didn't show up here, they had to put their hat in the ring as an attempt. Well, Reddick drove that 23 car last week at Homestead. This week they decided that the car he was going to drive, the 03, they went and bought the points from the 23 to keep him. So he'll be in this car from now on as a teammate to Brett Moffitt. Where that leaves the old 23 car situation, which is what Natalie Decker had a 4-race schedule with, is up in the air right now.
So kind of a to be determined, I guess, type of thing. It doesn't really look good unless she could qualify. And Dan, I'm not sure how it works in the Xfinity. Is it that they also have charters, or is it just get there and qualify in?
No, they have a formula as well too. It's it goes on. I think it's points and where you finished and everything else. The owner's points thing is what really messed those guys up that didn't make the Daytona race. The new teams had to make that race at Daytona if they didn't buy some existing points. I think the 48 car that Scott Borchetta owns, they bought existing points, so they were okay. The other ones didn't, and they got burned by the rain.
That's what I get for not paying close attention to the Xfinity series. So poor Natalie. At this point, we're just going to have to keep our fingers crossed she has a ride for anything going on.
No, there's funding for races. I mean, if it can land somewhere.
Yeah, and usually if you have the funding, something becomes available, right? She thought she had her 4-race deal squared away, and now they got to go shopping again, basically, right?
And it's up, but it could be, maybe maybe there's another deal in the works for another car to come out of there somewhere. Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen with it.
Josh Balicki never had a hard time finding a car to race, whether it was in Cup or Xfinity. It's out there if you have the wherewithal to find the money, and if that's where she's at. I mean, it seems to me it might not be the 23 car, but Natalie still might find herself with a pretty good deal ahead of her. Today's race at Las Vegas, it's a 267 lapper. It's 400 miles. The segments are at lap 80 and lap 160, and then the last segment will be 107 laps. And kind of a late start for us in Wisconsin at a 2:48 green flag. However, where Dan is, it's 12:48, so it's not unusual for the West Coast at all. Next week, keep in mind, we switch over to daylight savings time, so it'll still be a 2-hour difference, only it'll be included in to Phoenix then, which we don't change the time here. We don't have daylight savings.
I'm going to count on you to remind me what time the show is next week.
Yeah, 8 o'clock in the morning, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Kind of an early get-go, but that's okay. The top, the starter from the pole today will be Kevin Harvick. William Byron starts from the outside of the front row, so a Ford and a Chevy, and it has been a Ford track, Dan.
It has, and the Chevys have gained some speed, though. It looks like from Homestead, so I'm kind of going against the grain and thinking it might be a Chevy day today. Watch the restarts. Restarts are super important here. That's where all the action happens. You can get all of the ground you can make up on a restart. You better go for it. It looks to me like the front row inside slot is an advantage on the front row, and the front row only. Then everything else from row 2 on back looks like you want to be on the outside to get the momentum off at turn 2. That's just what I've noticed in the races that have run so far this week. You want the inside lane at the top on the front for the front row, but then you need the outside lane, I think, for anywhere all back there if you're looking to choose your lane on a restart.
And Ed, the new Chevy body is looking like they hit a home run with this thing, huh?
Yeah, the body definitely is better for the balance on those cars. They were cording tires pretty bad in both races so far, so
and it's the
we'll
same
see
tire.
What happens with that?
Yeah, they're running the same tire, right? I think the same one they had back in September.
All on the same rubber.
All right, we'll sneak away for a break and come back in just a couple of minutes. Hang in there.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for you 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Man, it is on at the front of the field.
Is at the Diamond in the Desert, Phoenix Raceway.
He'll try to jam it in 3 wide. He'll check up. He slips in 3.
The future stars of the sport will be battling for recognition.
Checkered flag in the air. Last-ditch effort at the line. Side by side. And Myatt Snyder wins.
The Call 811 Before You Dig 200. Presented by Arizona 811.
Saturday, our coverage starts at 4 o'clock on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
Boy, we're looking at tire issues again today, Ed. It probably won't be anything like it was last week at Homestead, but tires might play into this thing today, huh?
Yeah, it could be that way. We're cording tires pretty bad in the first 2 races on the compound on the left front and pretty hard on the right rear. If your balance is bad, going too aggressive on camber or too much on wedge and got a poor handling car, it'll aggravate that tire and cause you problems. You got 10 sets of tires in the pits today, 2 tires per stop, 80 laps, can't make it on fuel, so it'd be maybe 2 stops in that, so this one before and one at the segment, or bypass the second one for the segment and try to have some left. 80 laps on the next segment, same thing. The last segment's 107, that's 3 stops. So standard 7 pit stops, 7 sets of tires, leaves you 3 sets laying, which should put you in pretty good shape for short, quickie yellows and not getting beat up by a guy with a short run at the end and not have one for a green-white checker.
But they're not falling off as much as they did last week at Homestead, obviously.
No,
so, I mean,
no,
you could
not.
probably, can somebody 2-tire stop somebody and pull something off for track position?
Well, I saw that yesterday that a couple of guys tried a 2-tire stop. It didn't work all well at all.
Boy, they talk about how important it is to have these cars balanced. But I think you just kind of explained it, Ed. Balance is huge right now.
Yeah, it is. It's, if you get, especially with no practice at all, to dial that in, and one of the problems that the 13 truck of Johnny Sauter is having is they seem to be missing it on the get-go and then chasing their tail the rest of the day. So if you can start out with a car that's a little bit loose, and then how aggressive you have to go in the direction of tight is not only just with the Panhard bar adjustment, but also with wedge and tire pressure. But you can't change camber. So if you get too aggressive on camber to get that front turn, that could bite you on the left front tire.
Interesting stuff, and boy, it really comes at a good time. Brian, this is at 45 minutes. We will do our short track report and start out with some dirt results. What do you got for us?
Yeah, picked up a little bit this week. We'll start out in Crandall, Texas at the RPM Speedway. The USMTS Modified Series started off their season. They're paying a lot of money this year. They had 71 cars show up, 10,000 to win for just a regular feature. Terry Phillips, a late model regular, picked up the win. Out in Bakersfield, California, Friday night at the Kern County Raceway Park. No fans in the stands, but there was racing. The 360s I-5 Challenge was there. Dominic Selzy was your winner. Rico Abreu was also there. He finished 5th. Down in Barberville, Florida at Volusia Speedway Park. This was a race that was originally supposed to be over in Las Vegas this weekend for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, but they went to Florida instead. Carson Macedo picked up the win there. Last night, out in Arizona at Casa Grande, Central Arizona Speedway, the 360 non-wing sprints were there. R.J. Johnson was your winner. Over
and
at
thanks
Canyon,
to our correspondent on the scene, Paul Bowers, who called us with the results this morning. That was awesome.
Yes. Also out in Canyon, up the road from Utah to Peoria, Arizona, Canyon Speedway, the IMCA Modifieds and Stock Cars were there. Mike Weddlestadt from Wisconsin was out there. He started way in the back, finished 3rd, and Anthony Madrid won both the Modified feature and the Stock Car feature out there. Also, Yuma, Arizona, the Cocoa Paw Speedway, the IMCA mods were there. Chaz Baca was your winner. Night number 2 in Crandall, Texas for the USMTS Modifieds. Another 10,000 to win. Derek Ramirez was your winner. Night number 2 at Kern County for the 360 sprints. Shane Golobic was your winner. Rico Abreu finished 2nd in that one. Abbottstown, Pennsylvania. I still can't believe they're racing in Pennsylvania already. 4,000 to win for the 410 sprints. Tim Schaefer was your winner over Hunter Schoenberg. Springfield, Missouri. They're racing there too, believe it or not. 3,000 to win for the super late models. Bob Gardner. That's a guy we've seen race for years in super lates. Never got a win. He passed Billy Moyer on the last lap to get a win. What a win.
The Pink Panther, right, Brian?
Yep, the Pink Panther, yep. Maryville, Tennessee, the Smoky Mountain Speedway. The Morton Buildings World of Outlaw late models got going again for the first time since the Speed Weeks events in Volusia. The Tennessee tip-off, 12,000 to win. Chris Madden was your winner. The 604 crates were the undercard. Cameron Weaver was your winner. That is Randy Weaver, the Dream Weaver, they call him. That's his young son picking up a win there. And finally, in Gibsonton, Florida last night at East Bay Raceway Park, another one of these, like a week ago, they put this race on for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. They had a standing room only crowd there. The World of Outlaw Sprints had not raced at East Bay since 1983. But they filled it up last night. Aaron Reitzel picked up the win there last night. Standing room only crowd. The track's only going to be around for another 3 years before it's gone. I would have guessed that maybe they'll be racing there for the rest of the time if they can work out a deal. But great success for a race that was only put on about a week ago.
You had given some results about Cocoa Paw. I think IMCA is racing there again next weekend. And if I remember correctly, Kenny Schrader is coming out here next week to race. So that'll bring some eyes over to Cocoa Paw. In the world of asphalt, well, it's kind of a short report. There was a race last night at Pinellas Park, Florida, the Showtime Speedway. Michael Atwell was the winner. Brian, that isn't the whole story of that one, though, is it?
That was a 10,000 to win race, part of the Triple Crown, and only 13 Super Fleet models showed up for that race.
Jeez.
That's a head scratcher. I just don't get it.
I can't believe it. But it's going to heat up next week. It's a big one. The Rattler is coming at Opp, Alabama. That's the Southern Super Series. And Ty is going to be there, and Bickle is going to race down there. So eyes will be on.
Ty won that race last year, too, didn't he?
Sure, I think he did. Yeah. Didn't he have a picture with that snake around his neck?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah. So we have that coming. One other note, the former promoter up at Marshfield, Jim Langrick, passed away this week. So our best to his entire family. And like I said, it was going to be a short report in the world of asphalt. Michael Atwell holds up 12 cars. Can you believe that?
There's some news on the Slinger front, though. A guy named Zach Tilford from Idaho is going to come run 7 weeks with us, and including the Nationals.
Yeah, he's one of them young kids, but he's got a nice little resume. He's got 50 super late model wins. Did I see that? That can't possibly be right, can it?
It's coming from out in Idaho.
13-year-old?
He's going to come check out Slinger. It'd be kind of cool. Be there in May and June and all the way through August, I think. So it looks like most of the summer.
8 races, including the Nationals, yeah.
Right, through Pathfinder. And then you heard about the rental ride, the Steve April rental ride?
Yeah,
his second
what's
car?
That about?
RJ Braun, isn't it?
I didn't realize that was going to happen until I saw it on Facebook there. Interesting stuff. Oh, by the way, the Slinger Opener has finally been named. It is going to be the 28th, and it's a Big 8 Series race. It'll be in the afternoon, so make your plans for the last Sunday in April, as has been the case for, 70-some years now. We'll be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
The regular season comes to an end.
Davison goes into Potter, kicks it to Trice. Good look at a 3 left corner. Good.
It's been an up and down year for the 25th ranked Badgers, but March Madness is right around the corner. First up, though, a Sunday morning tussle at Powerhouse, Iowa.
Lost the handle. Wall digs it out of there, forces the turnover. 3-on-2 Wisconsin. Davis down the lane, swoops to the rim, way up good.
Coverage starts following Let's Talk NASCAR at 11 on the Big 920 at big920.com.
Last week, Noah Gregson, as you saw, had a little bit of a problem with David Starr. He was lapping David Starr, and Starr's right front got cut down where he went up and hit the wall right in front of Gregson. Gregson made absolutely no move to get around, rear-ended him, took him out of the race as he was leading. And
Starr was actually running 12th when he had that tire problem. So he wasn't like just a lap car. He was running 12th. Yeah, he was on the lead lap.
But he absolutely trashed David Starr, who's been doing this for a long time. I mean, I realize that he's 53 years old and he's a little bit older than Noah. How old is Noah? About 21 or in there, somewhere around there. He's a fine young driver, but boy, he just doesn't have a hell of a lot of respect. But either way, when he trashed him, Mike Joy of all guys, and here's a guy, it's as respected as anybody in the racing business. He came out and he had a tweet last week that said, "Our sport has always had funded drivers, but it's high time a few of these privileged kids powered by daddy's pile of cash realize this whole sport doesn't exist just to make their dreams come true. Let's take time to learn from some of those who have worked their way to the top."
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Amen.
Very nice. Nicely said, Mike. And no, he's only one of them, really.
Like some of those guys doesn't talk a lot, but when he speaks, people listen.
Oh yeah, you got that right.
And Noah, he doubled down then all week. He didn't apologize. He didn't. I don't know. I don't know.
He said, if you're talking about me, I'm doing my job.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's he races for Dale Jr. How long is Dale Jr. going to put up with that? Because Dale Jr. knows a lot of the routes, and he's got a lot of morals when it comes to this. Yes, and I don't know how long that's going to last if Noah keeps running his mouth. He may just show him the door, which would be awesome.
Yeah, on the other hand, they say that it is not a cookie cutter kind of a driver and that he speaks his mind. And, they need controversial drivers. A little bit like Tony Stewart. He never held back because it was the right thing to do. Remember when at Atlanta, when he told everybody what a piece of garbage the Goodyear tire was that he was racing that day? Are you kidding me? Nobody says things like that, But, it depends. You got to have respect, it seems to me. And another thing that came up this week that I found very interesting, guys, the Nashville Fairgrounds track. Now, this is not the super speedway where they're going to race this year. This is the old one, the one that they ran the 400 lapper at every year for short track stuff. The Nashville mayor has pledged to work with Speedway Motorsports to renovate that fairgrounds track. That's a pretty big deal, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. And the interesting to see the people involved in it. It's the CEO of SMI, Marcus Smith, the Bristol Motor Speedway president, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is also involved with this. But it sounds like Bristol Motor Speedway is going to be the promoting, source behind this track. And they want to make it about a 30,000 seat facility. Which would be adding seats. There's a lot of hurdles they got to jump in order to tear down that grandstand and renovate it. You got to get approval by the fair board and not a simple majority. There's 40 people on the fair board. They got to get 27 of them to vote. And we all know, especially here in Wisconsin, how state fair boards are to work with.
And NASCAR hates working with fair boards too.
I think that's why they put Bristol kind of people in charge of it. So the question is, why does Bristol want to promote that? Is there something going on there? Do they want to move one of their dates, or that's the interesting part?
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be cool to see the Music City 420 back. And Todd, Todd saw a cup race there.
Yep, 4 of them. I went 4 years in a row to that 420. It was a real nice race. It comes up with such an odd number like that because the track is 0.596, and if you multiply that times 420 laps, it comes out to 250 miles. So, it's an odd number, but it was a pretty good distance for basically a half-mile track to have a race at 250 miles.
There's a lot of moving parts there because currently there's a new MLS soccer stadium being built right outside of the Turn 1 part of that track. That's part of the renovations to that fairgrounds, and that's underway. So, I mean, if they're able to get all of this done, it would be pretty awesome. And we all know we don't know how long the super speedway, if that's going to be a good event or not. That the place wasn't great before. So Nashville really needs to have a foothold in NASCAR, I think. So if they're able to get this off the ground and make this a really good event, I mean, the track is awesome racing every time.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Nice place. All right, gentlemen, as we're winding up here, we're going to have to take a look at today's Las Vegas race. Don't give me any odds. Just tell me who you think is going to win the race. I'll start today. I believe it's going to be Blaney Day in a Penske car, the 12 car, to win today. Ed, who are you looking at?
Harvick.
The favorite. Dano?
I'm going to go Chevy route, and I'm going to go Alex Bowman, even though I bet on Tyler Reddick, because I really like Tyler Reddick to win, but I'll go Alex Bowman.
All right, and Brian, I bet you I know where this is going.
No, I mean, sooner or later the mold has to be broken, and we got to get back to what normalcy is, and Brad Keselowski winning this race would be pretty normal, so I'm going to go with him.
All right, and again, we're avoiding that 18 car. Again, we're going, why is he not winning every week? There's got to be a good reason.
Like Dan said, without having practice, they're just not that good, and you can see it. They don't have it.
Plus, it's a first year.
Odds are very high for a first-time winner this year.
That is true, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'll be pulling for Tyler Reddick. Boy, that would be awesome to see him win that race, and then Dan would win his bet.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Dan win the money, and because I like Reddick so much, he sure is easy to root for. He and Briscoe are the two that I just every week I've got to. Somebody's going to have to replace Kenseth in my head, and I'm still looking for him. But those two are the
guys. They're dirt guys.
Candidates. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm finally coming around. Who knows? it's fun to watch anyway. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Don't forget, the Wisconsin game is coming up next year in the Big 920. But following the Badgers at about 2:30, we'll go to coverage, and the green flag is at 2:48. You shouldn't miss one lap of Las Vegas, so we'll keep that in mind. And something else we want you to keep in mind, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our in-house engineer, website coordinator, and king of the knobs is Matt Hangover Losi. For all of us, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.